Let's look into the different types of assignments that you can send out to your students through Google Classroom. I've loaded up the back end of my classroom page under classwork for our social studies group with 804. On the top, I have my create button, which is going to be the central location for you to create assignments. Let's review the different types of assignments that you can create for your students, and then we'll look at what the students see when you post an assignment. So we can go into how they can submit assignments to you and what the different types of responses could even be. Under Create, you have different options. Let's go over the different types of assignments now. An assignment is when you have a piece of work that you want to send out to the students and you'd like them to submit something back to you. This might be different questions, it might include visiting websites, but if you want students to submit work back to you, assignment is the best place to go. Quiz assignment is a little bit differently set up. It also allows you to send out work that you want students to send back to you. However, a quiz assignment automatically generates a Google form. Once a Google form is generated, the Google form will allow you to create an answer key and select point values for each of the questions on your quiz. You should use the quiz assignment if you have a more traditional quiz to send out to your students. The question option is a little different. It gives you the option to post up a question to students, asking them to submit and send back a response to you. Students won't be creating Google Docs or submitting or attaching folders and files to this assignment, but if you leave the options open, students will be able to respond to each other's comments under a general question. Use this if you're looking to develop a discussion on your online class or if you have just a quick response that you're looking for students to submit. I would not use question if I'm looking for students to respond in an essay style. Material is another post that you can send out to your classroom. However, material would be most appropriate if you are just posting up items, materials, documents for students to view. When you post material, students do not have an option to send back work to you. Reuse post is another really popular option. If you already have a post that you've posted up in the past, you can use reuse posts to select a post and send it back out to your students. Before you send it out, you will have the option to edit that post so you can change anything you'd like. And also you can pick posts from other classes that you might be a part of. So if you are a co-teacher in another classroom, or if you're just added on to another classroom under Google Classroom, you can also use posts from other teachers and edit those for your specific students. The topic option is not something you would post if you want students to send work back to you, but it's really more of an organization tool. Some teachers use topics to post the different types of material. For example, the assessments might be posted in one common topic, or other teachers use this topic option to create subject-specific topics and organize work in that way. The example in my Google Classroom shows the topic that includes the date of the week and the causes or the content, for example, for social studies. So all of the material for this week, including the posts that will get posted up that I've scheduled for the future, will be sorted underneath the topic that's appropriate. Scrolling down to last week, you can see how all of the posts from last week have been organized under a topic that helps the students really navigate through the classroom. For this video, we're going to go a little bit deeper into the assignment option, which is a really great option if you are going to have students submit some work back to you. Once we look into the assignment, you'll be able to see how students submit it on the student end of Google Classroom. So first, let's create an assignment in your classroom to post up to your students. Make sure that you're always using a unique title for your assignments because you want your students to easily be able to toggle between assignments and keep track of their grades and what is due. If all of the assignments have the same title, it might be difficult for the students to figure out what needs to be done when. In the instructions box, as I always say, Please give explicit instructions to your students, telling them exactly what you want them to do, how to do it, and how to submit their work. If you're using Google Docs or if you're using another website, you want to be really clear for the students about how they should be completing their work. And in this box, I always include the comment, let me know if you have questions in the assignment feed or private comments. You want to give your students every opportunity to ask questions because Google Classroom gives you a lot of ways to contact your students individually. So imagining this is an essay, right? A lot of people want to do essays with their students. How can we have students submit back essays, longer responses, or even graphic organizers to us? The best option is Google Docs. So if you've already created a document that you want to attach, you have the add option. But let's say you're just in Google Classroom for the first time today and you're ready to post up a document where students can submit their essay to you and send their work all in one space. So I don't have that already pre-created. Let's create something to send out to the kids. Under Create, you have the option to create any Google Doc that you'd like. And if you use a Google Doc, it will create the Google Doc in the assignment and open that up in another window for you so that you're able to now make a template for students to use when completing an assignment. Let's imagine that this is a nonfiction essay number 1 to send out to my students. I would like to title it so that they'll be able to find that in the future. You're going to be able to title and edit this document any way that you would normally do a Google Doc. And you should think about it as you're creating a template that the students will go into later to edit. I would start with the prompt at the top, maybe listing the instructions for students and the reminders or bullet points for their essay. And it can be as simple as writing my response and giving students the instruction to type your essay here. This template is only the document that the students will see when they access your work. So you may give instructions, you may give them some prompting or some scaffolding. You might even copy and paste the questions for students if it's more of a question and answer task. You can edit this and create this document any way you want so that each student will be able to edit and send this back to you. Now notice I changed the title. I've now edited the document. If I click back into my classroom, this Google Doc still says untitled document. I like to reload just to make sure that my document is still accurate and that all the auto saving is working fine. But you'll notice that that document or that assignment I was working on pops up at the top. Now if I click back on it, I see all the things I've already posted. That Google Doc is there and I can click Edit Assignment. Nonfiction essay number 1 Google Doc has posted up, and I can click and open it up just to make sure everything is the way I want it to be. This is also really good practice if you want to get used to toggling between the different options and the different windows and really seeing what does this document or assignment look like as you're editing in the process of updating it and posting it out to the students. Now, remember I said that the students would be able to edit and send that document back to you. So you have some options next to the Google document to tell Google what are the permissions or what would you like the students to be able to do with that document. If I click, I see 3 options. Students can view the file. I used this option when I created a research document for my students and, sent out some work that I wanted the students to be able to read but not necessarily edit. That means there's one document, everybody can see it, but nobody can edit it. Students can edit the file. This option means that there's one document one Google document available, the students in your class can see it, and they can edit it. So you may use this if you're collaborating on a shared document. You might use this if you want students to all type into the one document as opposed to having their own. Be careful, sometimes students can overlap and delete each other's work. I would use this option when students have developed a really solid understanding for collaborative online work, or make sure that you can check the version history of your document to see who edited what. The last option is going to be what you want if you want your students to be able to type an essay, for instance, which is the type of assignment that we created here. Make a copy for each student means that when this assignment is created and posted on Google Classroom, the students will each get their personalized version of the nonfiction essay. So when they access this document, at the top, instead of nonfiction essay, you will see your name, or the students will see their name. You'll see the student name at the top. And each student will have their own version that they can write in my essay here. This would be once you send it out to your students. So you want to make sure that the template that you attach to Google Classroom is for every student, and you'll give the students the option to edit their own copy of this document by making a copy for each student. I'm going to post this up to my classroom, and we'll take a look at what it looks like for the students in a minute.